That is Billy Bragg. You probably saw, by the way, NDP Charlie Angus beside him right now, the NDP MP. But Billy Bragg, of course, is the alternative rocket left-wing activist dropping by a civil servant's picket line here in Ottawa today. Now, you may not know Billy Bragg, but you won't find him on the top 20 or even the light rock station list. But Bragg is a tireless anti-establishment activist. His legendary classic songs include the Workers' Anthem and Waiting for the Great Leap Forwards. Here is the pride and joy of barking England, Billy Bragg. Billy Bragg, good to see you.
Good to be here, man.
Looking fine. I haven't seen you for a long time.
Well, I've been around.
Yeah. What the heck are you doing in Ottawa? I mean, not just playing music, but what's the political side here?
Well, the political side is a number of things. Firstly, I was invited to come and talk a little bit about a reform of the upper chamber. I've been working on that particular beat for about 10 years in the UK.
In the UK, and of course we've got debate about the Senate here. What's the similarity? What do you?
Well, the problem is both the same. I mean, they're both basically appointed houses. So the problem is one of patronage and lack of legitimacy because they're not elected. They aren't really able to do the proper job, which is to hold the executive to account. You know, I know some people have talked about abolishing the second chamber altogether, but that just puts more power in the hands of the Prime Minister of the day. You know, and I've argued in my country, and I've been talking with some people from the NDP today, that a legitimate second chamber will help members of Parliament do their job better. Because if the second chamber has teeth, rather than just being appointed and not being legitimate, it will stop the government, throwing policy through the main chamber. Stuff get debated in the main chamber.
Now, guys, lots of musicians are involved in lots of different things. You've long been associated with political causes. I mean, you've done all sorts of political. But how did Senate reform? I mean, this is not sexy stuff.
No.
How did that make it on your front burner?
Well, everybody in British politics is either a cavalier or a rounded. I'm a rounded. So abolishing their lordships was something that would be very high on my agenda. But more importantly than
we
that...
know from the Conrad Black, the Lord of Crossover.
Exactly.
Right. Well, we know all about the House of Lords here.
Sure.
But Senate reform here, I mean, it's nonetheless, it is a rather...
I don't think it is. I mean, the idea that I was talking about today with my friends from the NDP is a very simple way of just really dividing the seats in the upper chamber in direct proportion to all of the votes cast in the general election for the House of Commons.
A proportional representation.
Yes, in the Senate. In the second chamber, yeah, but not directly elected, indirectly elected. This is very, very important.
Okay,
so
explain what you mean by that.
Well, direct election is I put a mark on a piece of paper next to your name. So you have a direct mandate, which people in the House of Commons does. Now, if you elect the second chamber in the same way, there's going to be gridlock because they both be so legitimate as each other. But if, when you...
you take it as a percentage of popular vote.
Yeah, the whole of popular vote. Yeah, because at the moment, if you don't elect the member of Parliament, your vote goes in the bin. So a lot of people don't bother voting because there's no way in their riding that their party of choice can win. Now, if all of the votes that were elected, that were cast in Canada on the night of the election are used in the second chamber, just to give a representation that's a genuine expression of the will of the people. Candidates taken from party lists, which are chosen by party activists and put in order by party activists.
So there's still the candidates are chosen. Oh, by the way, in British Columbia, they've put forward they've tried to switch to a sort of proportional representation and move away from what's called the first past the post system. So you're in support of that kind of thing for the Senate.
I'm not talking about moving away from first past the post. I'm talking about having a first past the post Commons and a proportional second chamber that's elected on the same ballot paper. You don't even need another ballot paper.
And interesting you say you're friends from the NDP. I mean, you're with MPs like Charlie Angus and various things, but this has classically been associated with the other side of the political spectrum, the Reform Party or the Conservative Party, and the famed Triple E Senate.
Yeah.
What's your view? How are you also talking to